Well, I guess the gang's all here? Hey folks, MasakoX here. A while ago, I started to look back into the world of Dragon Ball Fan Manga, having dabbled into the medium years ago when this channel was relatively new in its current guise. Nowadays, there are tons of these examples, and whilst people are really asking me to cover multiverse, like a lot of people, I say to them, where do I start? But I can tell you what isn't a motherload to tackle: Dragon Ball Kakumei. In the last chapter, we got to see the real reason as to why the GP was so nervous about a new, or should I say, revisiting malicious energy coming about that was returning to reality from Universe 19, or 0 to make it sound ultra cool. In that world, we saw the representatives from Universe 13 through 19, including Kansei, the mother of all angels, literally, and that's the mother of Whis as well. So we all know that R34 is going to have a field day with this one. But then, really, all I see here is just a mixture of Toa and Android 21. It's not doing anything for me, honestly. But the Chief Angel was able to see them away again, but only for 2 years this time, which to us is quite a lot, but is a drop in the space bucket for angels. And this means that all the mortals in every single universe are now roped in for the time that they will be unleashed again, and everyone has to pick a side for an all-out brawl. All the while, Goku won't be taking part in this. He is not appearing in this film. He's locked away in the realms as well, since he decided to stick his Saiyan nose into things he shouldn't. Ooh, a world without Goku running the show too much. Nice. Hey, don't act surprised. I may like Goku, but I'm glad that he's not taking part in this manga at the moment. We start things off with Chapter 3 covering, well, a busy cover. It's definitely a different change of mood from the previous 2 chapters, that's for sure. It's much more light-hearted. It seems like more of the Dragon Ball of old, a really relaxed romp, with Gohan taking charge here, similar to what he was in the 2nd chapter's cover, which implies that he is going to be a major factor in this story. I mean, it sort of makes sense really in the GP's eyes, since he was the team captain of Universe 7, so he's got to have some credit going for him. And look, up there, near the top, Goten and Trunks looking like they've actually aged up. Brilliant! And Yamcha's there too! But the chapter proper begins with Bulma and Vegeta. They are figuring out how to go about things, with Vegeta deducing that they should maybe go and find that Broly guy that Goku was training with, and get his partners, who Vegeta calls all green and all orange. I mean, he's not entirely wrong with those terms. It's kind of funny, I'll admit. I mean, Cheelai and Lemo are green and orange respectively. And also, I bet some of you forgot Lemo's name, didn't you? It's okay, don't worry. He's not a female character or a Saiyan, so I understand. As the prince then recommends to send the Saiyan children to go and see Whis for further training, Piccolo is off doing his thing. But then, a mysterious stranger is about to rat his way into the story with Piccolo, like in episode 1 of Z. But we'll have to wait for a moment to find out who it is, as Bulma ropes Jaco into helping them find Broly for them. And while she's doing that, Bulla is acting up, and Vegeta chooses to palm her off to Videl. Okay. That's not right. That's not the Vegeta we saw in the anime and official manga. In that one, Vegeta seemed like a really good dad. He was on top of taking care of her daughter. He wanted to. I don't think he would be that willing to get rid of her in the actual story. That seems a little off to me. It's the little things, you see. He probably has some kind of trick to calm her down instead, and then Gohan and Videl would have seen this, and they'd have been like, wow, Vegeta, you're really good at that. And the prince would have been like, it's nothing really. He would have been very bashful. Gohan rejects Vegeta's plan to train with Whis, instead having his own plan, we'll find out later. And part of that involves going to see Krillin and his family to ask where Tenshinhan and Yamcha are, and they just so happen to be visiting right there. Wait, Tenshinhan being sociable? That's very unlike him, but hey, the earthlings are being used, that's cool. And I also like the attention to detail here with Krillin's stubble around his head coming through again after the contest, meaning he hasn't shaved. Good. But then, Whis tells the group that they don't have a Goku to rely on anymore, and the reaction is priceless. Everyone's just stunned, including Gohan. Sorry, I know this is meant to be a very shocking and emotional moment for them, but to me it's hilarious, confirming all the tropes that we've seen so long. They rely on Goku too. Sorry. Oh, I got choked up just saying that. But now we go back to Piccolo and find out who he's been talking with. Salnel and Pilina from Universe 6. they found their way to Earth to talk with our Namekian. Now that's cool. I always wanted them to interact with one another, and we didn't get that in the anime really, so now this is our chance. They are there with Fu, the Supreme Kai of Universe 6, and they propose to work together as the 3 strongest Namekians in the Universe 6-7 pairing. And Piccolo's okay with this, he agrees to it. But he has to go and do something first. It's probably telling Tom he's going to be AFK for a while, I bet. But, yeah. This seems to be a little trope in this chapter. Characters are like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go and do this, but I've got to go and take care of something first off screen. See ya. Well, I mean, to be fair, I can understand why this is. This is down to the fact that big things are going to be happening later in the story, so they need to go and do that first before then the main stuff happens. So, okay, I can forgive that. But I am a little bit suspicious that Piccolo would be so willing to join up with them immediately, having never really met them before. But I suppose my thoughts about why they're doing this is that there's a deity here for validation of Supreme Kai, and Piccolo really respects his Supreme Kai, so I bet he'd be more reluctant to join up with them if Fu wasn't there. However, we then get to Vampa, and all green and all orange are there, with Broly talking with Bulma, and she's the one to go and get close with Broly, with Jaco providing transport in his own transportation vehicle. Cheelai here gets really jealous of this female attention. Oh, I see, they're gonna go for that coupling then. It's a little bit fanon of them to do that, but okay. I mean, it could be for another reason, like platonic safety and all, Cheelai acting like a maternal figure, perhaps. But yeah, the Black Bull didn't come to the trio in reality, they didn't see it, but they dreamt it instead. And it turns out, the power of the GP's influence means that he can basically Freddy Krueger his way into your mind.
Oh yeah, fight for me in an upcoming match to the death. No pressure.
But then Bulma gets the bad news that Goku is out of commission, and that hilariously stuns her into silence as well. But you're forgetting who you're with. Broly's like, hello? Limitless potential? Right here? No? Okay. Is this what it feels like to be a Z-fighter? Krillin, Roshi, Tenshinhan, and Yamcha now are reluctant to take part in this upcoming battle, because Goku isn't there. They're not sure what they can offer. And you might think that this is really bad writing, but actually this is in keeping with what it is. It is kind of accurate. In the modern guise, a lot of the crew do think that they're way behind, that they can't offer much because Goku's there. They compare themselves with Goku all the time. But you know what would fix that? Training with yourself more often and discovering your own potential. But then Gohan gets serious. Ooh, serious Gohan. Well, I mean, I guess with his father gone, he feels the role of Earth's defender is on his shoulders now. And he's the one to give the big speech instead of his dad, to say he won't pressure people to fight, but he does tell them straight that other people are going to be fighting instead, coming after them, so it's probably better to help than not help. Logical. Also, this shot really makes Gohan quite badass, don't you think? And just like that, the group just suddenly agree. You son of a Saiyan, I'm in! And 18 gives Krillin the push as well needed to take part. Sort of like in episode 75 of Super with the 18 cappuccino incident and say, hey, I didn't marry a weakling, right? Well, no, you didn't. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good episode. And you see, it just goes to show that 18 and Krillin are the best couple in Dragon Ball, in my opinion. And so, Vegeta then takes the boys with Whis, leaving Bulla in the care of her grandparents. And now, okay, this is the good dad Vegeta that I thought was there. This is what we wanted. Well, I mean, some of us wanted. And wait, the Earthlings are coming with. Ooh, intergalactic travels with Yamcha. And oh yeah, Marin here looks like she's grown up a bit as well. She's not like Dinky anymore despite being 7. Cool. And they're going together to train or going somewhere together. That's super cool. And this shot, very nice. A bit bloomy, but nice. Double spread almost. So now they're going to be heading to Universe 9 to talk with our favourite wolfmen, the Trio de Danger. Oh, cool. Gohan's got previous with Lavender as well. This is going to be fun, but really, Gohan? Boo kind of kicked Basil's butt, remember? Oops, that's a snafu. But yeah, no, Cell would have been wasted though. That's at least true. And Yamcha, having been the Wolf Fang, calls the trio the dangerous trio of canines, which I find particularly fitting and funny. If anyone had to make that joke, it had to have been him. Back on Vampa, the group are heading off with Jaco going at full pelt to planet Sadala in Universe 6. And oh yeah, the fans are really happy because Broly and Caulifla are gonna meet up. Cool. I'll tell you now, this chapter feels much less brooding and dark and more in keeping with the original tone of Dragon Ball. Much better. I'm relieved. So the Cube team get to Universe 9 and planet Calamant, whose atmosphere is half the thickness of the planet. Man, that's real thick like whole milk, isn't it? Or maybe cotton in this case. However, Whis uses his mysterious powers of whatever to cut straight through the entirety of it, so they can head down undisturbed 3,000 kilometers. Okay, that doesn't disturb the ecosystem. How? Oh, and Gohan isn't getting off here either, it's just the Earthlings that are getting off. Oh, it's kind of a shame they're not training with Whis, but hey, I mean, wolf meets wolves is fun too. The next stop is Sadala of Universe 6, where Vegeta gets off, and he says nothing. Oops, I think they meant to put text there. But anyway, I guess Vegeta is speechless to meet more Saiyans finally. And then just go immediately kicking their butt. Okay? I thought Saiyans here were supposed to be friendly. Oh, this must be Caulifla's goons. Maybe. But anyway, Vegeta's gonna have fun here. So now Goten and Trunks arrive on Beerus' planet, and the cat doesn't want to train them, making light of the situation and ridiculing Goku's hasty actions right in front of his kid. Yep, that's Beerus alright. And then Goten gets mad, powering up to attack Beerus. Alright, but then Trunks has to step in, do his best to stop him, but that doesn't work. And Beerus, in retaliation, not with words, he just face plants Goten into a rock. Yikes, that's a little extreme. But anyway, I guess Kakumei needed some darkness in there after all. It wouldn't be Kakumei without some edge. After scaring Goten straight into a boulder, Beerus tells Whis that he won't accept them, they have to go and train somewhere else. So I guess the fate of reality isn't that important then, despite the Tournament of Power just happening, that impacting reality as you know it. So you do it once, but not twice. Okay. Meanwhile, as Krillin, Yamcha and Tenshinhan are having trouble communicating in Universe 9, it's Vegeta who's the first one of our lot to meet up with Caulifla, and those were indeed her gang members, by the way, but Broly's gang aren't far behind, so there still is hope for the people that love Broly x Caulifla. But things are picking up even faster with Universe 11 now being called in on, and this is where things get curious in my opinion. In this fan manga, destructive powers are tied with immortality. Once you lose the former, you lose the latter too, supposedly. Nobody really knows, but it's likely that Belmod's going to die right now once he relinquishes his powers to Toppo when the time comes. And that time is seemingly right now. Toppo's wearing the robes right here, so I guess they're going to be transferring over the powers in this very section, with Margarita overseeing events. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. I really like to see more lore about the Gods of Destruction and how the powers are transferred, so I'm curious to see how they do it. With this giant statue of destruction here as a conduit, seemingly, for the powers to pass from one to the other. Dang, that's pretty metal. But hey, traditions and all that. So, at the end of it, Belmod is burnt to a crisp. Whoa. Practically dead. Whilst Gohan is here, making himself known to Dispo, them having fought each other in the tournament, remember? And Gohan here is to train with not just Dispo, but Jiren, and now the God of Destruction, Toppo. Gohan training with the Pride Troopers. Yes. And that's the chapter ending. All in all, this chapter feels much less fanficky and needlessly dark, and this time feels more in keeping with the original subject matter. Granted, there are moments which are kinda gruesome, but this time around they feel more grounded and more concentrated. They're not lingering. They're at least attached to things which we already sort of know about in the main material and feel a bit more fitting. Belmod's transferal of power being the prime example. It may have been quite brief, but it's pretty suitable actually, since after 3 million years of ruling, what else is left to be said? Belmod's done, tired, wanting to rest, feeling burnt out. Now literally burnt out since he's a clan crisp now. Sorry, too soon? To me, this chapter is all about setting up what the groups will be doing going for the next few chapters. It may not seem like much is going on right now, but there actually is a lot happening. Things are occurring in a way that I really didn't expect, with more characters being utilised for their talents, skills, and not being dumped on one planet. The Earthlings training with the trio de Danger in Universe 9? That's cool, I wouldn't expect that. Vegeta finally going to Universe 6? That's been long wanted and relevant. Gohan going to train with the Pride Troopers, given his Saiyaman background? Proper! That's what we want! Also, he can have round 2 with Dispo to boot, see if he's improved. All of these plot points are based on solid ground and fan demand. And now that we can step back from the Angels a little bit, take a breather, their role in the story over for the time being, we can start to see what the overall feel and tone for Kakumei is going to be. I am glad that it isn't all about the deities every single chapter. It does focus on the mortals at least a little bit, and on top of that, it's making use of other universes and pairings which would make sense from what we already know. I'm curious to see Caulifla train with Vegeta, having had the idea of her training with Goku pile-driven into my head so much it's become a common trope, and this is just subversion in action right here with Vegeta instead of Goku. And there's also a lot to carry us over the next couple of chapters, things being put to good use in the story. Nobody here seems like they're dragging the story down or not doing something. Everyone's being productive toward the cause. Even Krillin, who's probably the biggest stick in the mud going throughout all of this chapter. And yes, granted, Beerus being super reluctant to get involved is a little bit over the top for his role, but it isn't nonsensical. He would do that, but it's a little heavy-handed is all. He was really literally heavy-handed with Goten, am I right? Nah. This chapter is really alleviating a lot of my worries about Kakumei, it being an over-the-top gore-fest of a manga, which doesn't embrace the original material, and instead tries to make it appeal to more Western audiences exclusively. Those who want
Grit, anger, aggression, and nothing else!
No, this feels more appropriate to the original stuff. Like there's going to be a better balance. Neat. But what do you folks think? Did you feel this chapter was necessary? Do you feel less concerned about this being dark and brooding solely? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!